Alright, cool. Fade out of the music. Actually, I can't do that, so I'm just going to turn it off. Alright. And I can turn off that too. Alright, I think we are live and good to go. If there's any issues, let me know. Because I think that my Wirecast is getting progressively more finicky each time I try to use it. I see someone hears the music, but do you see me? Honestly, it's better if you don't see me. I was using that joke a lot over the weekend. I don't know if I overused it or not, but I definitely have a face for podcasting. So let me see. All right, everything looks okay. Let me get to this. Yes. Okay, cool. All right, let's try this again. My name is Nick. This is Board Game Brawl, and we... Oh, sorry, let me get rid of this knife. And... Don't worry about that. We're finally doing a live Q&A. So here's the if you're new to this, this is your first time on my Q&A or first time on the channel or whatever. Here's the long and tepid saga. That's probably the right word of how this went down. I was at Dice Tower Con last week, all 5 days of the con, and on Saturday ahead of time, I scheduled and promised that I would do a live Q&A from the con, from my hotel room at the con. And the Wi-Fi at the room was so awful because I didn't have like the premium pass that it just didn't work. It was a false start. I had to cancel it. So then I scheduled it for the following night, Sunday night, because I was going to be home then. I was like, all right, fine, I'll just do it from home. And I slept right through it. I was so exhausted. I went to bed like 5 o'clock. Said I'm going to sleep for 3 hours, get up, do the Q&A, do a preview video that I was supposed to do as well, and my Kickstarter update. And I slept until like 10 o'clock. So... But that's okay. So I lost the questions from the first night because that one I tried to start, and when you start something and cancel it, it just goes away forever. But I never actually canceled last night's Q&A, so I still have that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. As well, I'm going to show you some of the games that came in the mail while I was gone. I didn't actually get really anything from the con. Like a lot of people I'm seeing on their Facebook feeds now, people that were at the con with me, have like stacks of games and they're posting their pictures and saying, this is my Dice Tower Con haul. I have nothing of the sort. I got like I probably bought like 4 games at the con from the Cool Stuff booth because it was really cool. The Cool Stuff main location is like 20 to 30 minutes away from the con. So you could order stuff from Cool Stuff's website and it would show up at the con the next day. That was kind of great. But it's something I wouldn't have ordered anyways. I would have just picked it up at the location down here. So I can't say it was that... I didn't really have that big con experience. I came with a ton of my own games. Too many. My place is a disaster. I loaded so many games into my trunk thinking that I would be gaming for like 14 hours a day, but that just never materialized. I guess I'm getting right into the con explanation, which is fine. I'll answer your questions about it too, but I really was trying to do as many events as possible, so I did not game nearly as much as you probably think that I did. I gamed a lot, but not that much. And so next year, I'm bringing like 10 games. Period. I'll probably pick up some more games at the con and get some out from the library and any games that they're demoing, and that'll be that. That was way too many games to bring. I ruined a couple of them in my trunk. Like, not ruined, but like Elysium got some water damage on its lid. Whatever. But I did get some games that were that showed up in the mail while I was gone, so I'll show you some of those. And I'm going to open Force of Will packs while I talk. Force of Will is my new obsession. I don't know why. I haven't even played it yet, but I love the cards. And I love the bad English flavor text. I'm thinking of starting a Twitter feed with just like English Force of Will flavor text of the day. Completely out of context, but it doesn't matter. So let me find a good one to read to you. She is looking for the true happiness of everyone. That's it. Let's see. Wind is freedom no matter where. That's a good one. No. There's better than that, though. Let's see. Business is to have many choices. This is his theory. You revived me. Thank you. Later on, leave it to me and sleep softly. What has been resurrected is truly troublesome. That gives you a grand vision of the scope of the problem, doesn't it? I love this. And here's what I love about this game. I mean, it's got beautiful artwork. Let me see if you guys can even see this on camera. Let me go to my other feed here. Like, okay, this is like the Little Prince, okay? Like the Little Prince from the story. Sure, that's what it's inspired by, okay? But then at the same time, it's got Cthulhu. So you're fighting Yog Sothoth, the Black Myth, or Shub-Niggurath, complete with Naked Lady, because why not? But then you've got, like, Sinbad, and there's flying carpets and things, too, like 1001 Arabian Nights. And then, like, just, like, random anime girls, like the Snow Queen or whatever. Where's that other one? I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing game for all the wrong reasons in some ways. Then you've got, like, this card. She's like this is like the Moon Priestess Return set. And she goes, "Blah, blah, blah, look at that!" So I'm kind of, like, obsessed with this game at this point. I definitely am thinking of doing a Twitter feed of the really bad flavor text. I can't wait to play it and review it, even if it's terrible. All right, so anyways, I know you guys are going to freaking burn me at the stake for not answering your questions yet, but so let's get to it. I'm going to start with the ones from yesterday. Boy, you guys really rambled on waiting for me. I'm going to get to the really... It's going to be funny going through these and watching people get angrier and angrier from last night's feed. Did you guys actually ask any questions or just talk amongst yourselves? Oh, man. What was the difference in votes in Dice Tower Awards between Dead of Winter and Five Tribes? You know, I misspoke in maybe I don't know, maybe I did it intentionally, but I was trying to make it seem like it was a close race when Tom asked me during the awards for the Game of the Year. He asked me while I was off camera, Nick, what was out of curiosity, was there a big gap between first and second? And I said it was pretty close, and it was Five Tribes. But really, it wasn't. The thing was, for Game of the Year, since there was 10 nominees, the points were really spread out. So I think, by the way, when I say votes, I mean points. Because as I explained in the award ceremony, it's a point system. So you voted for something, you gave it a certain amount of points, yada, yada, yada. You can watch that. So the Dead of Winter had like 100 and some points, which for Game of the Year was great. Because, again, the points were really spread out. Five Tribes ended up with like 78 to 82. Well, hold on a second. I have it here. I don't know if I'm allowed to be saying this or not, but I have it on my screen still. Okay, it was Dead of Winter was 101 points, and Five Tribes was 77 points. So that's not really close, but that was the closest competitor. The next closest, I'll just give you the third. I'm not going to go through all of these. The third place was... Well, okay, I'll give you third and fourth because they're 1 point away. Star Wars Imperial Assault was third place with 69 points. Imperial Settlers was 68 points with fourth place. So, yeah, I'm really happy that Imperial Settlers did as well as it did, even though it didn't win anything. But yeah, so it wasn't that close, but I wanted to give some suspense. It was kind of a blowout. Everyone kind of knew that. I really think that this was an awards of not a lot of surprises, except for everyone seemed to be surprised by Best New Designer. Everyone thought that Splendor had it locked up, and it was really Alchemist. But I don't think... There were no ties, as Tom said. He was telling the truth. There was really no ties that I had to come and ask him about. But for Best New Designer, it was close, I think. Yeah, it was a 6 point difference. Alchemist was 113 points. Splendor was 107. The next highest after that was Zaya with 76, so it was not even in the running. Not everything's going to get recognized. Zaya did very, very well in the voting. It just could not get over that hump. Zaya was like third and fourth place in every category it was in. Something like that. Best components, it was third place. But Star Wars Imperial Assault blew everyone out of the water on that one. Best strategy game, it was last place, but Zaya had no business being in that category. I don't know what happened there. That's not a strategy game. It's just not. But there's that. Let's get to ask your questions. I'm wondering if he's more exhausted from the weekend than he thought. Well, yes. Where are you? I'm right here. I said I'd answer your questions. I can't remember, but was this Nick's first Dice Tower con? It's my first gaming con, period. Here's a comment. Wow, the Gen Con list on BGG looks dull. No kidding. I don't think this is going to be a very good Gen Con. Last year was a Gen Con to remember, and I've only been in this game for about 5 years or less. But last year's Gen Con list was freaking amazing. Can you think of all the games Asmodee put out? Abyss, Lords of Zidit. There was a bunch of like smaller games like maybe Witness was Essen. But just Dead of Winter and Warhammer Conquest, which is not a big deal now, but it was at the time. So many games that people were going freaking nuts for, and it just seems like there's none of that hype this year. I don't know. Imperial Settlers made its big debut at Gen Con last year. Wow. There will be the Magic game, though. That is true. With the Blackbeard, isn't Nick the evil universe Tom Vassal? And shorter, too. Maybe I should check to make sure everything's kosher with the feed. Yeah, that's a good idea. Everyone's just chatting. Here we go. Here's some more questions. Then I'm going to go over to the real feed. Best game played at Dice Tower Con. Also the worst game played. The best game. Best new game. Oh, that's a tough one. I'll say. I'll jump on the hype train and say Tides of Time from Portal Games is a really, really good game. I checked that out. They had copies donated to the library, even though it hasn't been released yet. And I checked that out several times to play it with people. I kept telling people who hadn't played it before, "You want to play this with me?" And then I crushed them. I crushed them because if you play that game one time, you don't know what the hell you're doing. If any of them had played me a second time, and at least one person did, they would have destroyed me. The worst game played was Camp Grizzly, which I brought with me, and it's terrible, and I'll review it tomorrow, probably. He just asked that. Okay, that's it for the old questions. Most of it was just small talk. Sorry, guys, I'm not reading that. So let's get to your questions from tonight. Thoughts on The Others by Simon. I haven't played it, don't know much about it. I know it's Eric Lang, right? So I'll probably enjoy it. Did you get to play Blood Rage? No. I have a couple of big regrets of the con. One of the regrets of the con, just to get out of the way, is that I feel like I didn't do very well on camera. Not that I did badly, but like, let's say, for example, the Dice Tower Awards ceremony. I was on the table right from the get-go, and I was like, that's amazing. That's pretty cool. Like, as soon as people tune in, whether they liked me or not, they have to watch me to get to the other stuff, which is cool. Stick it to them. But I should be opening Force of Will packs. But I did a fine presentation. I explained the point system. I made maybe one tiny little joke, and then that was it. I was gone. Everyone else did like a bit. Like Game Boy Geek did a bit. What's his nuts? Jamie Keegi from Secret Cabal did a bit. I didn't do anything. I felt kind of like I failed in that regard. So that's one of my two regrets. The other regret is I didn't get to play Blood Rage with Eric Lang, or to put it in another way, it's that I really interacted with Eric Lang that much at all. I did some. I said hello to him. I said I was a huge fan. Like him and Mike Elliott, I don't fanboy much over anything. I never even did that for Vassal before I was like a video reviewer. But those two, I respect them and enjoy their work so much that I am a total fanboy for them. And Mike Elliott, I got to hang out with a little bit and chat with him a bit, and he's super mellow and cool. People thought he sounded bored on the Dice Masters thing, but that's just because the guy's so chill in the way he talks. Eric Lang, I interacted much less, but I said hello. I said I was a big fan of his work. He said, no, I'm a big fan of yours too, to which I was like, ah! And inside. And then I had him sign, oh, do I have those? I don't have them. They're not easily accessible right now. But check my Twitter and Facebook, because I had him and Mike sign the Taras card, and I had Jason and Tom sign a Marshmallow and Yu-Gi-Oh card. So that was really cool. But then I had a chance to play Blood Rage. Well, I didn't have a chance to play Blood Rage. I kept saying, like, I really want to try that, man. And Eric's like, yes, I'll get together with me. I'm going to be here later. We can play it. And it just never happened. He was always doing something else. He scheduled a game with Sam, Z, and Jason. It only went to 4 players, so I couldn't do that, which is nobody's fault. I should have tried harder, and it just didn't come together. Because it looks amazing. I'm a backer of the game, Blood Rage, and hopefully I'll get to play it. But I wanted to play it with a designer. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I'll play the others with him. Let's see. Jack Black was in Neverending Story 3. There was a Neverending Story 3? That's my response to your question. Nick, can you answer the questions I asked last night? I'm too lazy to retype them. No. I think there were 2 basic questions everyone asked in some form or another. Did you get anything filmed? And is Jason more awesome than Tom et al. Let on? What? I don't know what that last part was, but I didn't get anything filmed. I brought my camera. I fully intended to. Here's the deal. After the first day, I was like, I'm never doing anything like work related because I had no time to do anything. The whole con went by in a blur. That's why I was saying before I barely played any games. I went to a ton of events. I was just talking with people. I went to lunch and dinner with people. It was an amazing experience, but I felt that if I had tried to crowd in like, hey, I'm filming you, I want to do an interview, it's just too much. And there was enough people doing that there, and no fault against them. Good for them. I didn't need to do that. So I know that's a bummer, but my channel has never really been about that kind of stuff anyways. I just do reviews. I do these kind of things. I interact with you people. I don't need to put up a bunch of live stuff. Or a bunch of like con stuff. So that's just kind of my thought. I don't think I'll bother next year either. And then the other part of that question, I guess, was, is Jason more awesome than Tom? No. If Jason was more awesome than anyone, that would ruin the bit. Jason is Jason. And I hope most people understand that by now. And I roomed with Jason, and it was fine. And many, many props to Jason and our other roommate, who was actually the guy who, you don't know him, he's not in the media, so I won't say his name because he might not want me to. But he was a super nice guy, and he got the room, and we all chipped in, and it just worked out perfectly. Nick, was there anyone who you met at Dice Tower Con who you thought you would like but ended up not liking, and vice versa? No names, though. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought I would say names if you didn't give that disclaimer? Yeah. So vice versa. There was no one that I met there that I'm like, that guy's a fuck. Oh, I almost swore. That guy's a freaking douchebag. I basically swore anyways. There was no one like that. But there were a couple people that I met who I'm a huge fan of their work and very closely related to the Dice Tower Network. One of them, okay, I can't say too much more. Those 2 people did not like me. Like, it was very, very evident they did not want to engage me in conversation. They wanted to move along and do something else. Whereas other people I met from the network, and I will say their names, like Suzanne and Tim, the Metal Meeple guy, Tom and Jason, obviously, and the Dukes of Dice, they were like, Nick, what's up, man? Come on, let's hang, let's party, and it was awesome. These couple of individuals, just 2 people, were just not having any of me. And the thing is, I kind of knew that going to the con. I had a suspicion based on online interactions or lack thereof. What are you going to do? You can't make everyone happy. Where am I? Someone wrote a comment I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to be mean, but it is funny. So, Aiz, A-E-I-Z, I appreciate your comment. What's the best thing coming out of Gen Con we know about so far? I already said Tides of Time. Portal's got a solid lineup, except I did not play Rattle Battle. Rattle Battle was on demo, a full production copy. I didn't do any kind of demos while I was there. I just didn't want to. Watch me drink. But I heard mixed things about it. Rattle Battle looked amazing, but I heard very mixed things about it, and that really put me off from trying it. But I did, like I said, try Tides of Time, and that's amazing. So I think that's a solid winner for Gen Con. I still love Imperial Settlers, so having another faction, the Atlanteans, I can't imagine that they'll screw that up. So I would say that's a safe bet as well. By the way, I'm going to look through some cards. Hey, new thing. It's a regular rare. Akashic Records of Eternal Flame. All memories are accumulated here. Okay, there's like religious cards in this. There's like Cain and Abel. This set is crazy. It's insane. Do you receive free games from publishers? Yes. Not a lot. The vast majority of the stuff that I review is still me purchasing it or getting from my sponsor via credit. But I do get games from publishers now, yes. You will see a couple of them reviewed in the next few days. Did you play Redux? No. Oh, that game has been so hard to get to the table. I feel so bad for the publisher, too. I promised them I'd get it like weeks ago. Nick, how pumped you were that Heart of Crown is coming to Kickstarter soon? Yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. And yeah, I'm probably going to back it, although I hope they would send me a copy, given that I'm the only reviewer talking about that game. I hope they use my review on their channel, but I don't know. But it's amazing, and I hope... Did he just use a racial slur? Did I? No, I did not. Liar. Oh, the English thing. Well, is that a racial slur? Come on. That's a meme. How on God's Earth was Dead of Winter most thematic? I don't know. It tells a story, doesn't it? I felt it was a solid pick for it. What were the other categories, or the other nominees in that category? I think I voted for it. Well, I don't know if I voted for it for first for most best theme. Here's the thing. Castles of Mad King Ludwig got a surprising amount of votes. Is that thematic? I mean, that was 5th place, but 5th place with 68 points. That's crazy talk. Dead of Winter blew it out of the water there, but Star Wars Imperial Assault was next, and by a very wide margin. It was never going to be number one there. And that's only because it was Star Wars, I think. If you have a problem with Dead of Winter, I would go ahead and say maybe Legendary Encounters might have been a better fit for that. But I don't know. I think Dead of Winter is a solid choice for theme. It tells a story, and it does it well. Really upset that Imperial Settlers won nothing. I know. I wish it I'm happy that Dead of Winter won in categories and happy that it won Game of the Year, but I wish that Imperial Settlers had won Best Strategy at least. But that, again, that was going to 5 Tribes no matter what. What was the gap there? I think it was 2nd place, but still. Yeah, by 20 points. 5 Tribes was 138 points for Best Strategy. Imperial Settlers was 118. The next closest was Kanban, which was 28 points behind at 90 points. But yeah, I really wish it had won. 5 Tribes had the momentum, though. Nick, can you quickly run through who you voted for in each Dice Tower Awards category? I probably am not going to remember since I did it. I didn't have to submit them to anyone, so I just did it on my own personal list here. But I'll see if I remember. I think I abstained from voting in Best... No, I did vote in Best Reprint, but I only voted for... I voted for Doomtown Reloaded and Cash and Gun 2nd Edition in that order. Best Party Game, I went Spyfall, of course, then Good Cop, Bad Cop, and then Cash and Gun 2nd Edition. Remember, you can vote up to 3 categories and you get descending amount of points, 4, 3, 2. Best Artwork, Abyss. I mean, that was easy. I did Abyss first, then Imperial Settlers second. I really love the design on that. And then I think I did Star Wars because, it's good. Best Components, I'm pretty sure I did either Zaya or Arcadia Quest for first and second. They might have been interchangeable, and then I went Star Wars. I am amazed. Colt Express got so many votes, and it came in 2nd place, although it wasn't even close to Imperial Assault. But come on, it's a stupid cardboard train, and it's a pain to put together, and it doesn't look that good. People are enamored with the dumbest things. Sorry. It's true. Ugh. Every time I saw someone vote for only Colt Express for components, I'm like, come on, really? I don't even care if you've never played Imperial Assault. Look at pictures. That's like the one category and artwork you can say, okay, I've never played the game, but I can clearly see the internet's pictures. Anyways. Best 2-player game, I think I voted Dice Masters for first, and that was close. It was 108 to 115. Star Realms winning out over Dice Masters. But I voted Dice Masters first, then Star Realms, then I think I did Warhammer 40k Conquest because I never played Imperial Assault 2-player or Battle of the 5 Armies at all. Best cooperative game, I did Dead of Winter, then Legendary Encounters, then Witness. Best strategy game, I did Imperial Settlers, followed by 5 Tribes, then I think I did Zaya because it was there, but again, it should not have been in that category. Best expansion I might have sat out of. Best expansion got the least amount of votes, which makes sense, right? You have to have not only played the original game, but also played the expansion and then had a strong opinion about it. So it makes sense that fewer people voted in that. So I don't think I did either. Best new designer, I did Zaya first. Then I did... Well, I either did Zaya first or Paperback second. Paperback should have walked away with something too. And then I think I did Alchemist. Best family game I did, which I had no business voting in, but I did anyways. I think I did Spyfall, then King of New York, and then Splendor. Best game from a small publisher, I nominated Medieval Academy for this, and I'm glad it got some votes, but it got the pitiful amount of votes. Oh, by the way, here, you want an interesting tidbit? There is, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to be mean. There is one nominee total out of the whole awards that got 0 points. I mean, there's not even anything close to that. The next lowest is maybe like 20 points. Maybe 25 points I'm seeing. And that was in an expansion category. So one game got 0, which is pretty sad. But nobody played it, that's why. I'll let you commiserate us what you think that is. So best family game, best game from a small publisher. I think I did Zaya first, then Paperback, or maybe I switched those two. I can't remember, and then Medieval Academy. Although maybe I did Medieval Academy higher. I don't remember, but that's generally what I voted for. Most innovative, I did Tragedy Looper, which blew out everybody in this one. Tragedy Looper, and then I think I did Dead of Winter and Alchemists. I don't find Spyfall to be that innovative. It's neat, it's clever, but best theming, I did Dead of Winter, Legendary Encounters, and Alchemist. I don't think Star Wars theme is like that good. It's just Star Wars. And then for Game of the Year, I did Imperial Settlers, Imperial Settlers, Dead of Winter, and I think I did Zaya. I think so. So that's that. That wasn't quickly. Sorry. I did not miss any of the early questions. There weren't many. Well, I didn't have the questions from Saturday. I only had Sundays, and you guys didn't ask very many questions. Did you get to play any Oinky games? Yes, I played A Fake Artist in New York, and I'll be reviewing it this week. How did you enjoy the Felds in the tourney? Thoughts on them? Well, I did 2 games of the tourney, and then the whole freaking thing fell apart. It was a disaster. There was no organization to the tournament at all. It wasn't totally Tom's fault. It was the fact that everyone involved was just like griping and not completely unorganized. And it just was frustrating. So at a certain point, I was just like, I'm not going out of my way to do this. I have too many other things to do. So I played Trajan and I played Castles of Burgundy. I came in last place in Castles of Burgundy, although the first place winner was way ahead of the rest of us. The other 3 of us were within like 5 points of each other, so I wasn't that bad off. Trajan, I came in 3 out of 4, and I, again, the first place player was like way ahead of us. So I was way out of my league. People that continually play Feld games, I knew I was going to get crushed, but I still had fun. Trajan is still a fun game. I like Trajan a lot. I know it doesn't seem like I would, but I do. Although I regret that a couple of the Felds were Bruges, which I haven't played enough. I have my own copy, but I wanted to play it more, and I thought there was a good chance to do so. And Notre Dame, which I never played. I'd like a Carcassonne game with combat. Any such game. Isn't that Neuroshima Hex essentially tile laying with armies? I have it, but I haven't played it. How is Gen Con not huge? Magic board game? Well, I don't know. What do you mean by huge? It's got a lot of games, but I don't think it's got anything that people are that excited about. Any upcoming Kickstarter previews coming up soon? Yes, there'll be one posting late tonight, or else they're going to come and chop my head off, because it was supposed to be out before I went to the con. And there'll be some later in the week, I think. But I'm hoping to get a ton of reviews done in between that. What did you think about Marco Polo? I liked it a lot. I'll probably be reviewing that tomorrow as well. Nick, what did you take away from Dice Tower Con to improve your channel overall? Anything you want to do differently or keep the same? I kind of am just going to stay on the right course. I've always kind of been a unique niche here. I mean, I know I do like reviews, and everyone does reviews and top 10s and things like that. But as far as like what I say and how I act on the channel, I don't know. Kind of doing my own thing. It wasn't really a learning experience there. It was just kind of like, and everyone just kind of loved what I was doing. So I just felt kind of fortified in my position, to put it a weird way. Have you played Rattle Battle or the new Imperial Settlers faction? Neither. Nick, how disappointed were you that Jason Brenner was not present at the Upper Deck presentation? I'm not sure I understand your question. Jason Brenner was not present at the Upper Deck presentation. Do you mean... I don't know. Do you mean the thing that Jason did? I'm not sure about that. Nick, do you think Tom is too harsh on Jason? It seems like Tom gets annoyed with Jason talking too much. Here's the thing you have to understand. First and foremost, Jason brings it on himself because he does talk a lot. That's his personality. But on the other hand, if you had seen what I had seen at the con, Tom relied on him for everything, and Jason gleefully did it. Jason wants to be involved in everything, and Tom relies on him for a lot of stuff. And to Jason's credit, he is a reliable person. So, and it's half of it is a bit, and, you know, half of it is real, but it's real knowing that Tom and Z and Sam know the threshold. They know how much they can bust someone's chops, and, you know, it's all camaraderie, and I assure you Jason delivers just as much to them. Look, part of Jason's charm is that he's so quirky and goofy. That's it. That's him. Trust me, I've known guys like this, and that's why I have a higher tolerance for that. And, you know, I think Jason is ultimately one of the kindest people I've ever met. So, and I'm happy to call him a friend. Nick, how many games are you currently awaiting from Kickstarter that you backed? Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't gotten any in a while, right? I think maybe Xenoshift and Forgotten King came within a few days of each other, and sorry, I kind of got mixed. But you know what? That's a good stopping point pausing point. Let me go ahead and show you some games that came in recently. These aren't Kickstarter games. One of them is. Some of these are just from my sponsor. Let me go to my other feed so I make sure that this is actually showing up on camera right. So first is Terrain Odyssey. Now this was on Kickstarter. I did not back it, but I was kind of rooting for them because it seemed like a neat system, and it failed once and it came back, and I talked about it on my update. I just wanted them to succeed. It's got cool anime style artwork, and I'm hoping it's good. It's much bigger than I thought. It's just a weird box. I think they could have got it into like a compact card box. Here's a weird one. This came out at Essen last year. Nobody's talked about it. Nobody's reviewed it. It's been languishing at my sponsor, so I figured I'd finally just pick it up myself and try it. Altaria Clash of Dimensions. It's a two-player game. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like area control with cards. I don't know. Looks neat. Here's one that will be coming out from Stronghold Games, being reprinted, but I have the original copy. This is The Golden Ages. I'm quite eager to try that. And then another Victory Point game. I'm kind of fond of much of their work now. Frontier Stations, cooperative game, which looks really neat. And it's from Jeremy Leonard, who did Darkest Night, one of my favorite games. So here's the game that all that goodwill that I just built up over the week with the Dice Tower with Tom and the rest of his crew and all the people who love the Dice Tower and are fond of what a kind and reputable and family-oriented channel. Get ready to blow all that up and watch it go down in horrible flames, all that goodwill right out the window. I have Barbarossa, the Nazi anime, there we go, Nazi anime girl card game. And yes, I cannot wait to play it. Oh, it came while I was gone. I wish it had come before I left. I absolutely would have played it there, unashamedly. I got a promo pack too. Anyways, I will definitely be playing that this week, and then hopefully reviewing it next weekend. Are you doing a preview for Scoundrel Society? Did I not already do that? I did that. Check my channel, Joe. I did it like 3 weeks ago. But back to the question, like, how many games are you currently waiting for Kickstarter that you backed? I know of one in particular. Not too many, though. Yeah, maybe 6 or 7 or something like that. Nick, did you tell Mike Elliott that he needs to make a Lost Legend expansion? I freaking forgot. I didn't even think to ask him. Holy crap. You're so right. Maybe I'll tweet him. Nick, why is the rabbit crying? What? I don't know. Oh, it's probably it's one of your silly jokes. Did you get to hang out with the Secret Cabal guys? I did get to see Brian briefly. There was a bar we went to called the Cloak and Blaster, which was a geek-oriented pub with great food and beer that I guess was partially funded or wholly funded through Kickstarter. Like some of the menu items had little K's next to it, indicating they were Kickstarter stretch goals. Really weird. But there was an unofficial Secret Cabal meetup there, and Brian came there the first night, so I met him there. We didn't really hang out or do much, and then I saw him periodically throughout the rest of the con, completely hammered, which was amusing. But I never got to actually play a game with him. I heard you were the only one with Broom Service. Is your copy the German version, and is it language independent? No, it's the multilingual, I think, French version. Yeah, I think I was the only one with Broom Service. But not too many people seemed that eager to play it. A few people were. I played it twice. Enough, and with different player counts, with the 2 extremes, 2 and 5. So I think I probably have enough to review it, and I'll probably do that sometime this week. Nick, have you been watching the Versus relaunch feeds? Right now, this looks amazing. I don't know. Is it collectible? I hope it's an LCG, at least. Have you played Mage Wars Academy? Does it do a good job of condensing the game? I haven't played any version of Mage Wars. I owned the original Mage Wars for over a year, and then just got rid of it because I never played it. I got it really cheap from Tanga. How late is it? It's not too late. Nick, I cannot express how happy I am that you read my silly, nonsensical question live at Dice Hour Chrono right before you overtook the Q&A. I aim to please. Let's see. I don't like LCG-style games. I am interested in Ashes, which is going to be an LCG-style game. Sorry. I wanted to feed Eric Lang. He's so skinny. Yes. He more than makes up for that in hair weight, though. If you could pick the next Dice Masters expansion, what would it be? I said that on camera. Game of Thrones. Have you played Spectre Ops very much? When I first got it, I played the game like 4 or 5 times. I haven't played it much then. Although, I will tell you this, that was one of the most played games at the con. You probably wouldn't suspect that. I'm going to say that at any given time I was in the main hall, I saw a game of Spectre Ops being played. And I didn't even go into the other rooms that much. It might have been getting played even more then. That game was all over the place. That, Marco Polo, because that came out during the con, and Cool Stuff was, shuttled it in to have it available for purchase. So those two, the Grania was making the rounds a lot because Bonacore dropped off some copies to the library. Tides of Time. What else was getting a ton of play? Forbidden Stars. I think I always saw a game of that being played in the back. Let's see. If you scroll down too much, you lose everything. Is it only my group that all seem to prefer Eldritch Horde to Dead of Winter? Well, they're very different. I think they're very different. One of them is a trader game that's more closely related to BSG, and Eldritch Horde feels like a much more epic, sprawling, kind of bloated game to me. So if you prefer it, you just prefer it. I'd like to see more live plays. Any plans on pumping more of those out? Maybe another 18 to 24 hour marathon. Stay tuned. There'll be some news in the next couple of days, hopefully, unless it falls through. Oh, I see. All right. After board games, what's your second favorite hobby? Mine is drinking bourbon. Well, since your name is Board Games and Bourbon, I would have suspected that. I'm gonna say it's watching TV and anime at this point. Did you have any luck getting the Dice Masters guys agreeing to a JoJo expansion? Deal the world. No, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. That'd be great though. Oh, it'd be amazing. Oh boy. Are you or are you not backing the new zombie side? I currently am, but I'm on the fence. I am not. I think I'm going to pledge $1 and see what happens. What's your biggest Kickstarter regret? 12 Realms, most likely. No, it might turn out to be Relic Knights because I'm doing nothing with it. It's literally just sitting there in its boxes, which is sad. But 12 Realms was a really big disappointment, and I paid a lot of money for that. I want to pick up a lightish 2-player board game that isn't as heavy or long as the likes of Twilight Struggle. Any suggestions? Light-ish, so I assume you want it to have some depth to it for 2 players. Oh. But within that same vein as Twilight Struggle, I mean, I could recommend like Summoner Wars, which is like a heavier game, but is pretty also light. Chaos Ball. I mean, I just don't know what you want from a game. If you want it to be like Twilight Struggle, where it's like area control, that's a tough one because I just don't play a lot of games like that. Favorite 3 games so far of 2015. I'm not going to commit to this at all, but here I'll rattle off some that I know off the top of my head. Forbidden Stars, Elysium. Elysium is amazing. That's the very first game I played at this con because I got done with the live Q&A the first morning I was there, Wednesday morning, and I had no idea what to do. I'd never been at a gaming con before. I hadn't been at Dice Tower Con in particular before. I'm like, well, let me just walk around. And some guys had it set up with a teacher wanted sign up, and I was like, all right, I don't care, sure. Let me just break the ice right here. And I destroyed them. I think Elysium has a pretty steep learning curve for the first time. It's an easy game to teach. It's easy to understand. But being good at it takes a while. And I've already played the game like 4 times. So I just like and like it was almost like the video game sound where you like hit a guy and then he just slowly evaporates. They were not expecting that, but they were super cool and really nice guys. Even though I did the really asshole thing of starting to walk away while they were cleaning up the game. And when he pointed it out, the guy was like, yeah, you taught us the game, so I guess you can go ahead. I'm like, oh, God, I'm sorry, guys. I was so entranced by everything going on around me that I just wanted to walk away and do another game. I just couldn't help it. So did I give you a third one? Let me give you a third one. Zaya? Zaya's 2014, isn't it? Mysterium. Maybe that's 2014 too. I don't know. Oh, I'm getting some Barbarossa hate. Ooh, I love it. Let me get it. Barbarossa really is in poor taste. That doesn't mean it should be censored or anything, but it really is on the edge of being not appropriate. I can't disagree with you, but I also think it's so ridiculous that I don't agree with the sentiment, but it's almost too ridiculous to be taken seriously, and I don't think it should be. Hi, I'm from Europe and just want an Amazon $100 US card. What games should I get that are hard to get in Europe? I like Arkham Horror, Descent, Level 7 Mega Protocol, and Merchants and Marauders. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's hard to get in Europe, but if those are the games you like, I would think you should go for Imperial Assault, especially if you like Descent and other games where it's one versus all. I think that's a fine choice. Or Forbidden Stars, since you say you like Merchants and Marauders. Definitely not the same, but long, epic kind of games. I think you're in the right ballpark there, but spend it wisely. Buy your kids something. Nick, what are other cons you are attending this year? None. Next year, I'll do better. Next year, Gen Con. Next year's probably going to be Dice Tower and Gen Con for sure. Oh, yeah, Joe says get Zaya. Get Zaya. That's $100, although it's between printings right now. Zaya is not out of print. It's between printings. I don't think you can get it right this second for a normal amount of money. Do you have any old games that you like to dust off now and then? I brought a bunch of old games with me, hoping that would be the case, like Shadows over Camelot. What else did I bring with me? I don't play Seasons as much as I should. Yeah, things like that. Sitting here painting away. Okay. Will you be getting the new Legendary expansion from Gen Con Secret Wars? Of course. I was really upset that I think that Vassal... I didn't go to the flea market at the Dice Tower Con because it was insane. If you got there 10 minutes early, there was a line going around the building. It was like an hour wait just to get through the line, so I just wasn't going to do it. And I didn't need to buy more games. But I know I saw Tom's, because I was helping out in the back. I saw Tom's stuff, and he actually sold, I think, he sold Fear Itself expansion for Legendary, which is the dumbest thing ever. I can't understand his view on that. I can't understand why he hates that so much, but I think it's one of the better small expansions. And even if you don't like it that much, it's still more Legendary. Why would you get rid of it? Doesn't make any sense. I'm looking forward to Secret Wars, though. I'm getting drawn back into MTG after years of staying strong. What advice do you have to keep away from the cardboard crack? Look, if you want to play it, play it. Just be reasonable about it. Get the dual decks if that's all you want to do. That's what I did. Nick, I got Shadowhunters last week. Have you had a chance to play it? If so, thoughts? Yes. It's... Oh, you know what? It's in my pile of games from that I took to Gen Con, or to Dice Tower Con, which I also didn't play. But, here are my thoughts. It's a great party game. It's incredibly random. There are going to be people in your group that will hate it because of that. It's better with more. I think you should never play it with less than 5 for sure. I think it goes down to 3, but don't ever do that. But the more the merrier for sure. And play. There are some optional characters, homebrew characters that someone made on Board Game Geek. There's actually more than one person that did it, but one person did it and they're terrible. Okay, they're absolutely terrible. There's a guy named Storm Knight, I think is his screen name, who made a bunch of homebrew characters that look like really bad anime artwork, but they're amazing. Print those out and get them in the game. They'll make it much better. Movember is far away. Are you going for the lumber sexual look? Always. Let's see. Nick, of the Planeswalkers in the Arena of Planewalkers game, who is your favorite of the 5 walkers? Mine is Jace, of course. I like Jace. I'm going to go with Chandra, though. Maybe even Liliana. I don't know. I really wish that instead of... I think if they picked Gideon for the white Planeswalker, I really wish they had done a Johnny. Then I would say a Johnny. What would you like to see in a 3rd Seasons expansion? I mean, more cards is the best thing for that game. You don't need to do anything too wacky with that. Add a 5th season. Don't do that. You don't need to go overboard with that game. But maybe add seasons dice that for the 4 seasons that maybe do different things, that have different numbers on them, and have them randomized. I don't know. I think small tweaks to the game are all it needs really right now, just to add variety. But there's a ton of stuff for it right now. I'm pretty pleased with where it's at. Yeah, I don't know. I should get around to reviewing Shadowhunters at some point. Nick, did you join Sam playing TI3? No, but I saw another game of TI3 being played, and I felt jealous. I felt like maybe this should have been the con that I should have done it, but this is my first year. I'm going to let it ride. Next year, I'm going to know a lot better how I want to budget my time, not carrying around games like an idiot. I'm going to get a backpack for next year. My hands were blistered because of carrying around my big parachute bag the first day, and I learned better to just pack a light the next day. So I think maybe next year when I got a better handle on the con, I might go ahead and play Twilight at that point. Will Elysium replace Seasons? It is so good. Not for me. I still like the artwork and the light pasted on theme of Seasons better. The chunky dice, the rest of the components. I still like the drafting and the card play in Seasons more. But Elysium might be a top 10 game for me. It's that good. Speaking of Magic the Gathering, are you upset over the HeroScape tiles not actually being compatible? I am not, but some folks I know are. Well, no, I just don't care. I don't play HeroScape. I have a bunch of HeroScape stuff, but I never play it. Who's your favorite of the 4 main Dice Tower guys? Tom, Jason, Sam, or Z? I'm not going to answer that question. Do a how to play Tragedy Looper video. I bet it will be a hit. Maybe so. By the way, here, I'll give you a scoop, and he'll be mad at me for saying this. Tom sold his copy of Tragedy Looper, so he's never reviewing it. It's never going to happen. Rise the bottle higher. Does it taste good? Yeah, it's a girly drink. I like the girly drinks. Tom and Sam seem to have a fair amount of love for Memoir 44. What's your opinion? I played it once, and I didn't enjoy it very much. Of course, I got slaughtered by someone who played it a million times, but even so, it's just not my kind of game. In your February live chat, you said 1, you don't like Dominion. 2, if you can get past Hanakore's theme, it's a great game. 3, you love Tantakore. To me, that sounds like you should like Dominion. Well, I do like Dominion. I don't like Dominion when you compare it to a bunch of other deck builders that I have. I got back into Dominion because of the new expansion, and I think it's really interesting, and I'll probably keep it for people who can't play with anime girls or superheroes, but other deck builders are strictly better. Who's your favorite comedian? Chris Rock. Nick, if you go to BGG-Con next year, I'll play TI3 with you. Don't. I might just take you up on that. How's Fake Artist compared to Spyfall? Spyfall destroys it. Jason kept saying, it completely replaces Spyfall for me, but he's prone to exaggeration. I think Spyfall is better. He's oh my OMG, he's live. I'm glad I could catch it. And we're just about done. We probably are just about done, actually, Joe. I'm sorry. We got 10 minutes. I'll stay the whole hour. Fallen is hard to get here in Europe. How is the replayability of it? Since the Kickstarter edition seems unreachable, and are there expansions incoming? I actually think the replayability of it is a problem. Now look, it's a relative problem. As Tom is always fond of pointing out, if you get to play a game like 10 times, you got a lot of play value out of it. And I think you could easily do that with Fallen. But I also think that unless you're purposefully using new adventure cards each time, that can be a problem. And also, you do only have so many overlords and heroes to choose from, and that's a problem too. Because in any other game, you would say, well, again, you get a lot of plays out of it. How can you complain? But other games are built to be played many, many times. Like I'll just say Pandemic or something like that. Even having the same setup. But this game is supposed to rely. The big thing that makes Fallen worth it is having those story cards and having the different characters to play as. And when you have a relatively limited quantity of those, I think it hurts its replayability. I just do. When are you going to have the first board game Brawl Con? Never. That would be pretty amazing, though. Come do Origins. I don't know. Origins seems like the one major con I can skip. Because Origins doesn't have any major game releases. And it's just like Dice Tower Con. It's good for playing games, but I could do that at Dice Tower Con, and I can do that at home. So I think Origins is going to be the one major con I'll skip purposefully. Unless, I don't know, I'm flown out there. Nick, a new optional variants or top 10 deck building games? Which one will come first? Top 10 deck building games. I know. Optional variants is just I have so many good ideas for optional variants. I want to do a Hannibal review, especially since it's about to be canceled. I want to do a Flash review finally and Daredevil review. I want to do a top 10 Final Fantasy games. But when I think about it, it's just a back burner thing. And I'm so backed up on reviews and previews and top 10 lists for board games, it just doesn't make sense to do it. What are your thoughts on Scythe? I only think it looks amazing. I don't know anything about it other than that, the gameplay-wise. Nick, is it time for a Toxic Avenger board game? I think it's probably been past time for that. I'm opening up another pack. Apostle of Cain. Its flavor text is Flame-like Invaders. Makes no sense whatsoever. Alibaba, the earnest worker. If you take your work seriously, good and bad things may happen, but there's also a chance for money. Makes no sense. Ooh, look at this. Another flippy card. Cool. Wonder how many of these there are. I got another Akashic Records of Eternal Flame. Fiend of Dark Pyre. Sweet. It's a Cthulhu. It's Nyarlathotep, the Faceless God. So Fiend of Dark Pyre can turn into Nyarlathotep, the Faceless God. And, yeah. So in this game, Cthulhu is a type of creature. I'm serious. There's cards that say other Cthulhu get plus... Other Cthulhu resonators get plus 200, plus 200. Isn't that great? It's something. Hold on, I'm separating the rares. I caught up on questions, so now I'm just opening packs of cards. You brought this on yourselves. Let's see, more questions. What's your take on the green roof legislation in France? I have no idea what that is. Explain it to me. Did you see they are remastering FF7? Yeah, I know. It's amazing, and I probably am going to have to get a PlayStation 4 just to play it. Any new sweet deck building games come out recently? Barbarossa. Ah! No, that's pretty much all I know of. Yeah, I know nobody cares about FF15. Didn't they release trailer footage of that and it did like nothing? Have you ever been recognized from your videos when you're just out around town? No. That's why it was such a surreal experience at Dice Tower Con, because like everybody knew who I was. The only people that didn't know who I was were, that didn't make any sense, but the only people who didn't know me were the people who were like the husbands and wives of who didn't actually like board gaming, who were dragged to the con, and their kids. Those are the only people that didn't know me. Is it weird that there hasn't been an Elder Scrolls or Fallout themed board game? That is weird, given the other video games they've made board games out of, like Crisis, which isn't actually going to happen. Do you have Defenders of the Realm with having if you can't? Is it worth having if you can't get expansions? I previously owned Defenders of the Realm. It was one of the first games I had when I first got into board gaming. I didn't like it and got rid of it. Do you keep up with the Evangelion remakes? I have kept up. I watched the first two in the theater, which was a pretty cool experience, actually. A little art house theater had the original Japanese versions with subtitles playing down here in Fort Lauderdale, or when I used to live in Fort Lauderdale. That was years ago. I haven't seen the third one. I don't even know if it's been out on video or DVD. Video. Cyclades or Comet? Comet by a mile. I picked up a really cheap copy of Cyclades because Tom was getting rid of it at a Cool Stuff local flea market once, and I picked it up for like $20, brand new, unopened, and even got the expansion with it, the first expansion. And I played it a few times. The thing is, I'm not sure I like it, and I kind of bought it just for that reason, so I could review it. Have you ever thought of doing a collaboration video with Joel Eady like he's done with Richard Hamm? I don't think he's interested in doing one with me. Otherwise, I would consider it, because Joel Eady is probably the other solo reviewer not associated with the network that I respect the most, but I don't think he's interested in doing one with me. Anyone here played the Waterworld board game from the 90s? I have it right here. No, I don't have that game. Sorry. All right, we only have a few more minutes. I want to go the full hour, so I'm just going to open packs. Oh, I have another one of these. Garbage. Sinbad. It's like one of those... he is a super rare, but I think he's one of the super rares that's easy to get, because that's like my second or third one of them. Gerda, the Tear of Passion. The tears thawed the frozen heart in an instant. Business is to have many choices. This is his theory. Did I say that one already? It's classic. Kane Complex. Some of the art reminds me of Kingdom Death Monster. Alright, let's see. Should I go through all of them? I don't have too many left. I bought a whole booster box, by the way. That's why I have so many of these. Have you played or heard anything about Dark Moon yet? I have that coming to me in a trade, because I could not get Stronghold Games to send me review copies. That's enough of that. Enough said about that. So I will be getting it in a trade, though, for Dead Men Tell No Tales, which was a very disappointing game. Age of Empires 3 Remake worth getting to replace the old version? I haven't played any version of it. Just couldn't tell you. What are the minis on the top shelf behind you? Those are War Machine. That's the Kador faction. Fallout Shelter, the board game, is something I'd buy. I'd like to try Fallout Shelter, actually. I have not done so. Nick, can you sing us a song again? No, I've learned my lesson. Let's see. Here's another rare I got. Seth the Arbiter. He was always sad and glad. That's the flavor text. It's amazing. I'm telling you. I'm starting a Twitter feed with Force of Will flavor text. One a day. Ha! I'm opening Force of Will, a trading card game. I bought a booster box of it. Favorite Pokemon? I don't like Pokemon in general, but if I had to pick one... I don't even know a lot of the newer ones. There's like some plant girl that I like. I don't know. I don't know what she's called, though. Hey, someone mentioned side-scrolling board games, like video games, but I had an idea today for... I played a lot of, over like the last few weeks, I played a lot of those shoot-'em-up games from the arcade, and I was thinking of Time Crisis and like House of the Dead. Why can't someone do a game like that? Have it like the system from Battle at Kimball's Cascade, where the board is just changing and changing and changing constantly every round, and you're going through and you have your gun, and you can use fake phone guns like from Cash and Guns if you really wanted to, and you either like do reload on your turn or you fire, and you can even make it like a flicking game. I think that'd be kind of cool. When are you going to guest host on the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast? I am going to go ahead and say it's a safe bet that I will not ever do that. Kingdom Death Monster, Dixon Boobs Edition. Isn't that Kingdom Death Monster? Ever tried Warhammer 40k? Tyranid player here. No. Part of me wishes I would, but I'm definitely not doing it now. In another life I would have, though. Given the choice, would you save the love of your life? What? Given the choice, would you save the love of your life or not? Oh. Yeah. Are you interested in the new DBZ movie? No. Yeah, oh, are you talking about the Resurrection F thing? Yeah, but I want to watch the original Japanese one. Do you know anything about Barbarossa, the deck-building card game? I know that I'll be playing it soon. Gardevoir? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she looks neat. Kemble's Cascade type of game with a shooter aspect, probably. Well, didn't I say that? I don't know. Speaking of flicking games, what do you think about Flick 'em Up? I think I probably should have played that while I was at the con because they had a copy of it there, or two, and I just didn't. I wish I had, though. Alright, hold on. I just opened another pack. Let's see what I got. Regular rare, Ragnarok, the Divine Sword of Savior. This sword can slice through everything. It will save all. This is gold, man. It's gold. A Magic Stone of Light. It's like a common rare, I think. I'm telling you, this flavor text is where it's at. I'll stay off long enough because I'm going to open these anyways. You mentioned an Asian deck building game you can get a digital version of in a past broadcast. I tried to Google it but couldn't find it. You didn't look hard enough or they took it down. It's Heart of Crown and you can play it digitally. I never tried it though. Are there basic crystals in the Force of Will boosters? As a matter of fact, I think there are. You mean like the Magic Stones? Yeah. I have okay, that's like my 4th or 5th Awakening at the end. I think it's a pretty good card. Oh, there's a new one, I think. Zero! It's a super rare. Zero, the Magus of Null. I think I got some pretty valuable super rares. I'm not sure, though. They seem to be pretty common. The whole game is still kind of hard to get. Will you turn down if we had a Kickstarter to get you to Dragon Con this year? LOL. When is Dragon Con? If you did a Kickstarter for me, I'd go, because I'd have to miss work and have unpaid leave. Did you ever give your take on the whole Will Wheaton tabletop rules controversy? Yeah, I think that Will Wheaton's not a real gamer. I think that he threw his producer on the bus like a dickhead when he tells people not to be a dick. I think that he's an arrogant SOB who's letting his small amount of nerddom fame get to his head. I think that he doesn't really care about getting the rules right and is only caring about it now because Kickstarter backers made this current season possible, and now he's got to answer to them for the first time. And he's freaking out about it. He's like, oh no, you're actually threatening to not watch anymore, which means we're not going to have a show. And he probably will not have a show next year. Did you back the Epic game? I forgot to. Is it over now? I'll have to check and look. But I would have because it was cheap. 49 people watching still? Fine. So I'm going to keep going. And keep opening Force of Will packs because I'm going to do it anyways and have nothing else better to do. This is my favorite flavor text. Elixir of Immortality, okay? Here's the flavor text. Bear with me here. Immortality's incurable disease and medicine can't cure it. Didn't you just say that? It's incurable? I love it. Look, the King in Yellow. Cthulhu reference again. That is a Cthulhu avatar. This is a common, but I like it. The Dark Shining Swordsman. What its type is Resonator Were-Rabbit. There's my second super rare Flaithsing of the Holy Winds, which is Wind is Freedom no matter where. Here's a new one. No, I think I got this before. Shining I can't say this word. Trapezohedron. Trapezohedron. All right, we've got 4 more. One of these is going to have an amazing card. Are there any new ideas that you want to try for your show? Podcast, let's play. I've had some thoughts kicking around. I don't think I'm ever going to do a podcast at this point, but I'd like to go on other people's podcasts maybe. Will Wheaton agreed. You asked him to sign that Cards Against Humanity card, and he wouldn't do it. Well, I don't know. Sometimes people just can't do things all the time. I wouldn't necessarily be mad at him for that. Given that his Kickstarter made more than $1 million, he really should have hired a producer that knows the rules to the games they're playing. Well, again, I'm not necessarily sure it's only his fault. Guilty pleasure game. It might be Barbarossa. Maybe Magical Athlete. That's a stupid game. Do you play any war games? No. People kept claiming that Race to the Rhine was. I don't have it anymore, but it was a good game. But I don't think it's a war game. What got you into Force of Will? I saw the amazing card art and had a feeling. I just wanted to get into a CCG again, I guess. How close are you to Tallahassee? Do you know if there's a good gaming scene there? I am pretty far from Tallahassee. I'm 3 hours south of Orlando, and Orlando is like a couple hours at least south of there. It's not like a huge distance, but I don't know. I know that Brian from the Secret Cabal lives near there, and he seems to have a really good group. Nick, did you back the best treehouse ever? No, I thought it looked like a neat little game, and I thought that the artwork was beautiful, and I liked the concept of it, but it has really bad reviews from the people that print and played it, which is surprising because people seem to love those tiny games and seem to have that Kickstarter-itis of like giving it good reviews no matter what, so I was surprised that people actually gave it bad reviews, and that made me really wary of it. Let's see what I got here. Ooh, is this another double card? I wish I understood why some of them were double and some of them were not. This is Liberator of Wind. The talk passes swiftly through the night. On our other side. If the story is shaped by one in this current time, who would say this world that we live is not a story that was already written? Shahrazad, the teller of 1,001 stories. This is amazing. J, activate. That's what you have to do. Cool. Okay, that's like my 4th Apollo Sphere, the Moon Lance. It's one of the best treasures that Kaguya possesses. 3 more packs, and I'm ending this nightmare. Would you back a Fireball Island remake? If it was good, I've heard nothing but bad things about it. It's just an interesting looking game. Do you have any idea when will the next Machikoro expansion release? Should be this summer. I wouldn't be surprised if it premieres at Gen Con. Probably. That would sell huge there. Is it really that annoying when people send files with registration black? What? When people send files with registration black. I don't know what that means. I think you misspelled something there. Nick, who is the best candidate for the Republican Party? Interesting that you would ask me that. Well, out of that whole nightmare crew of people that they have there, if you absolutely held me down literally with a gun to, not even my head, Bugbear's head, you could kill me. But if you held a gun to Bugbear's head and asked me to vote for a Republican that's currently up there, God, I feel ill considering the question. Chris Christie? Maybe Chris Christie. He was such an ass, though. Nick, who is the best candidate for the Democratic Party? Bernie Sanders. Nick, will you be doing a top 10 anime art games list? That would get so few views, it would be sad, but I would like to do it. Nick, when are you growing out that hair again? This is probably as bad as... Well, I mean, I'm going to let it grow out because I'm lazy, but then I'll probably trim it down again. I don't want it to be much longer than this. What do you think about Ash's Rise of the Phoenix Born? It seems like it's pretty much the same as Epic game except with dice. Well, but they did it first. No, I think it's actually Magic the Gathering with dice, which was fun. You need to have Board Game Brawl card magnets made. Well, fortunately, I work at a company that does that, and I have Landy marketing magnets on my car now. Republicans are gamers too, you know. I understand that, but you did ask my opinion, Patrick. That's my opinion. Do you think FPS-style board games are an underused style of game? Well, yeah, there's not too many of them. There's some that feel like it, like Level 7 Mega Protocol, and there is Gears of War and Doom. All right, I'm out of questions again. Yes, I realize you're not evil monsters, Patrick. Genesis creation. God said, I'm reading from the Force of Will card. God said, let there be light. Thus there was light. The Old Testament book of Genesis. I'm not kidding. This is how wacky this game is. It's all over the place, and I'm kind of in love with it now. 2 more packs, and I'm ending this. Isn't it about time for an investment into new shelving? Yeah, it's working for me. Isn't Magic the Gathering with Dice Masters? Touche. No, it's much. Dice Masters is Quarriors with trying to become Magic the Gathering. The thing about Ashes is that rather than have land cards, you have dice. But the combat and summoning feels just like Magic. Nick, what's the most embarrassing song you know the lyrics to? I'm Walking on Sunshine. Every verse to Barbie Girl, isn't there one verse to that song? Oh God, this is like my 5th one of this guy. That's terrible. Not interested. All right, so I'm getting down to the bottom of the barrel here. Last pack, right? This has got to be amazing. This is it. This is going to have, there is a Force of Will card. I don't think it's in this set though. Alucard. I don't know if it's just like, here's Alucard, but it might be supposed to actually be the guy from Castlevania. That'd be amazing. Here we go. Last pack. Look, this is one of the cards. Isn't that great? But then the next card is like the black goat creature from Cthulhu. Oh, okay, the last pack was lame. I already have both of them. Etna and I, the Pilot. Oh, I, the Pilot's flavor text. I met him in there. That's it. Joyful Birdcatcher. Come on, come take plenty. Survivor of Heaven Castle. The end of future moved from the battle in the sky toward the battle in the space. Oh, what was that other amazing one? I don't know. All right, guys, that's about it. I'll answer the last year questions that popped up here. Then I'm out. What's your favorite board game related shirt? I really don't have any. My Ascension shirt, maybe? What's the movie of the summer so far? People keep telling me it's Mad Max, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to say Avengers. Or Ex Machina. There you go. Is there like 2 rock stars of gaming, like the Zoolander of gaming, where they face off at different cons? No, that'd be pretty funny. Do you think the new Terminator movie will be worth seeing? Not if you look at the critics' ratings. It's not good. Are you a pencil or pen type of guy? Pens. Would you ever do instructional videos? Not really. Thoughts on Ant-Man? Seems okay. I think it could go either way. Nick, do you drop your doubles in a paper shredder? No, I can't do that. I backed Barbarossa. Where's mine? Don't live in Canada. Which of the Dice Hour guys is the most different from their on-air persona? They're all pretty much themselves. I'm not kidding on that. They're pretty much themselves. And lastly, where and when can we get Board Game Brawl, I assume, shirts? I actually approached someone about that. We'll see what happens. If I ever did a Kickstarter, that would be the main reward I would hand out. All right, people. Thank you so much. So much fun, as always. Thanks for indulging me. Sorry this one was so late. Perpetually late. Delayed and delayed again and again. That won't happen again in the future unless there's some technical hiccup. But thank you so much. I'm going to end it here. I love all of you, and happy gaming. That's not a new catchphrase.